This picture of a robot leg confused so many people. Is this the sign of life outside our planet that we've always been looking for? Well, during the early 1940s and 50s, reports of several flying saucers became an American cultural phenomenon, with several sightings of strange objects in the sky becoming raw materials for Hollywood to present their own visions of what a potential extraterrestrial threat might look like. Ever since its inception, about 60 years ago, NASA has been constantly solving the mysteries of the universe by giving us answers to the questions that we have about the cosmos, and today the Space Agency, along with its international partners and thousands of researchers, have contributed a lot to our knowledge of the universe, all thanks to several telescopes and satellites. From the early probes of the 1950s and 60s to the great telescopes of the 1990s and 21st century, NASA's scientists have always been exploring the universe all the way from the Big Bang to the present. But does this mean that NASA could uncover every mystery out there about the cosmos? Well, no. So in this video, we're going to take a look at some of the scariest space images that NASA cannot explain. Let's dive in. We're already excited about making humans a multi-planetary species by putting humans onto the red planet. But what's interesting is the fact that there is already something that resembles humans on Mars. Yes, you heard that right. Back in 1976, when the Viking 1 mission returned photos of the Martian surface, there was one thing that caught the attention of so many people: the image of a rocky surface in the Cydonia region on Mars that resembled the face of a human. This image was captured when the Viking 1 mission was circling the red planet in search of a perfect landing site for its sister ship, Viking 2. The best explanation for this would be the fact that there is no human face in the first place. It's just an illusion, created as a result of light and shadows. At least that's what NASA scientists want you to believe. But there are still people who believe that the face is a remnant of an alien civilization. Or it could be a crumbling extraterrestrial city that we know very little about. We have been already speculating that there might have been a civilization that thrived on Mars sometime in the past, and it looks like we're getting more clues for the same. For the past 10 years, NASA's Curiosity rover has been examining the surface of Mars to understand the history and geology of the red planet, and maybe even find signs of life, and it looks like the rover did just that. The rover captured a photo which appeared to show a doorway carved into a rock. This is very similar to what we have here on Earth, indicating an underground bunker like an air raid shelter. When you look at the picture, it's totally convincing, but NASA tells us that it's only 1.47 feet tall. Geologists pointed out that several straight line factors can be seen in the site, and the doorway is just where they happen to intersect. But should the Martians be as tall as us? What if they're actually smaller? Well, we may never know, but Mars clearly has a lot of hidden details that might give us a hint about the existence of life. Asteroids are exciting because they hold so many hidden clues to the origin of the solar system, and might even have several valuable raw materials that might help us with our space exploration. But what's more exciting is the fact that this is an asteroid that looks just like a human skull. In 2015, this asteroid missed Earth by about 300,000 miles and was visible to those people who had great telescopes with them. This asteroid is estimated to be 2,000 feet in diameter, but they don't have the same shape every time because they tend to smash into other celestial objects and break apart. Scientists are of the opinion that this asteroid could most likely be a dead comet that once spewed debris across the solar system. It's crazy to think that our brain is programmed to find faces in almost every object, even on an asteroid. If you think that finding a doorway on Mars was exciting, well, the excitement doesn't end there. Because in 2019, UFO hunters spotted a robot leg, or what looks like one, on Mars. This image was taken by NASA's Curiosity rover in August of 2019. The picture shows what could be the lower part of a robot limb. There are other theories that it could be a piece from a broken statue. But who builds statues on Mars? Yeah, aliens. But NASA is unlikely to agree with any of those suggestions. The most accepted scientific explanation for such sightings is known as pareidolia, which is a tendency to interpret vague stimulus as something known to the observer, similar to the faces on Mars that we discussed earlier. Whatever this might be, it's still exciting to know about new mysteries like these. It's not every day you get to see a nebula with something that resembles an eye placed right in the middle. This is an image of the MYCN 18, which is a young planetary nebula that's located about 8,000 light-years away from Earth. This picture was taken with the Wide Field and Planetary camera on the Hubble Space Telescope. The image was able to reveal the true shape of this nebula, which was not previously known. What makes this nebula exciting has to do with the fact that it resembles an hourglass with an intricate pattern on its walls. We still don't know much about the reason behind the shape and the presence of the inner eye, but this shape could be formed as a result of expansion of fast stellar events within the nebula's expanding cloud, which is denser at the equator than at the poles. At this point, you cannot deny the fact that Mars has a lot of surprises for us, especially if you're someone looking for evidence for the presence of life on the red planet. If that is the case, then this image shows that a strange bright light photo from Mars might be evidence for alien life that you're looking for. This image was taken in 2014 with the NASA Curiosity rover's right navigation camera. You cannot blame people for getting excited when something unusual pops up in a Mars photo, because that's exactly the point of all the research and development that goes into learning more about the surface of the planet. UFO enthusiasts are currently speculating that it could be an artificial light source, which indicates that there might be some intelligent life forms already on the planet. But other experts believe that it could be a cosmic ray hit, and for those of you who don't know, cosmic rays are high-energy particles that go flying through space. Even astronauts reported seeing flashes of light in space which are generally attributed to cosmic rays. This is because when a cosmic ray happens to pass through the retina, it causes the rods and cones to fire, and you perceive a flash of light that is really not there. But that's in the case of astronauts, and this picture was taken with the camera. Maybe a cosmic ray might not be as exciting as finding aliens with flashlights on Mars. What if we told you that there's a mysterious object across the von Karman crater on the far side of the moon? Something that resembles a mysterious hut. What if somebody is actually staying inside of it and observing our planet? This mysterious object was discovered by China's Yutu-2 rover back in November of 2021 during the mission's 36th lunar day. The most likely explanation for this would be a large boulder which has been excavated by an impact event. Either way, it's quite convincing to see something as interesting as this on the lunar surface. Once again, an image captured from 2014 created a lot of buzz when NASA's Curiosity rover captured an image of the Martian surface resembling a thigh bone on the red planet. This claim first appeared on a UFO blog and was quickly picked up by several media outlets, so much so that NASA was forced to release an explanation that this Mars rock may look like a femur thigh bone and it is not the remains of a mysterious man. But most people were not convinced with this explanation, and they thought that NASA is trying to hide something from the general public because the Curiosity rover already found evidence that Mars was once a habitable planet in the ancient past, even though we still don't have any evidence that creatures were large enough to leave a bone behind. NASA stated that Mars most likely never had enough oxygen in its atmosphere to support complex organisms. But maybe the problem lies with the way we look at life. Maybe the life forms on Earth might only exist here, and other planets have totally different kinds of life forms. We may never know. Back in 2008, NASA's robot Spirit released photos of the surface of Mars. But this was not like any other photos because you could see a human-like figure resting on a rock, and several people suggested that the figure could even be alive. But according to astronomers, it's just a rock. Scientists again are of the opinion that the reason why so many people saw that figure on the Martian landscape is the same reason why people see faces in clouds and in coffee stains. This phenomena, like we mentioned earlier, is pareidolia, which is a very well-known psychology, and it is also the reason behind many supposedly mysterious and miraculous events. We still don't know what life looks like on Mars, or if there is any in outer space. But you can't blame anyone for getting excited about these images because we tend to look in detail for any clues that give us an idea about what the outside world looks like.